Meiha, greetings, welcome. I am an enrolled member of the Gabrieleno Tongva, the San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians. Today I am representing our tribe, the Gabrieleno Tongva. The native peoples of Southern California are still alive and thriving today. Throughout the exhibit and around the property, you will see these large stones with depression worn into them. Some are deep or shallow, long or short, wide or narrow. These stones are called grindstones, mortar and pestle, or molcajete and mono, which were used by our people in this region to process different materials into finer substances. Larger grindstones were used to process food, while smaller grindstones were used for ritualistic purposes such as paints or medicines. Most people in California were dependent upon acorns, which meant we traveled to find our food sources. Traditionally, and still today, these grinding stones are used to grind leached acorns into acorn meal that are made into food. The native peoples of Southern California are still alive and thriving today. Prior to colonization, we were a fully operating society that lived in sync and relational flow of life on our land. Many Tongva communities were fully operating villages that lived in sync and relational flow of life on our land, all grounded in reciprocity. Our people had currency, hairbrushes, soap, sewing needles, fishing methods, adhesives, language, ceramics, architecture, decorations, fishing weights, and even purses that were cultivated, all while honoring the land we came from and practicing sustainable methods. We used bone awls for basketry, sewing needles, or for leather working and scraping. Larger bones had other uses, such as prying abalone off of coastal rocks, digging, or leatherworking. Some bones were also used to dig or work the land.
Pieces of shell were made into jewelry. Anything that has a hole bored through it may have been on a necklace at one time. The limpet shells to the left of the display case have a much larger hole. They were used for hair ornaments. Large abalone shells, like the ones near the bottom, had many uses, including scooping water or acting as a bowl. Abalone were a primary source of food for our people. Their colorful, strong shells were used for fish hooks, jewelry, knives, etc. Abalone, like the ones shown here, were fished almost to extinction, and it is now illegal to harvest and sell wild abalone.
Each shell bead that you see on the hanging necklaces took time to make. Stringing the shells and running them back and forth along a rock known to me as a sizer ensured the same size shell bead. Our ancestors knew the right seasons to gather, how to dry material, and the process to turn a shell into a bead. Some shells took so much time to make, we used them as shell money and for trade. The seagrass that touches your feet at the beach was very useful to the Tongva people. This fibrous plant is able to be woven into various textiles, ropes, bags, nets, or other woven goods. Our people also use various fibrous materials, including willow bark, tree bark, and yucca. The two winnowing baskets up top were used for processing seeds. Most California Indian tribes use the winnowing baskets to sift small seeds that would be made into flour. The Gabrieleno Tongva used many different types of arrowheads. Our people, the Tongva, used poison-tipped arrows made from various substances. The poison was processed down to a stick and carried around in a small leather sack. When poison was needed, it was rubbed onto the arrow point. H.A. Edwards was a pot hunter who scoured the islands and Southern California mainland for artifacts. He then recreated the pieces in museum exhibits and a passion play and are not authentic artifacts. When looking down this walkway, I question why. Why would one man think it's permissible for him to remove an entire village for his own advantage and self promotion? Of all places to take artifacts that live their lives on an island out to a desert, everything belongs back where it was taken from.